Hi guys, I wanted to introduce you to my game Wugga Wugga. This game is a combination of Chutes and Ladders, Sorry, Pictionary, Charades, Asshole, and more. All these games merged into one fun drinking board game for adults. The goal of the game is to simply get your entire team to the President's Club first. The first team in wins. Sound easy? Then there's a few things you might want to know. Sorry. If you land in an occupied space, the prior occupant gets bumped backwards to the nearest vacant space that matches the color of the space that they occupied. If they are near start and there is no spaces that are the same color, then they go back to start. Sorry. Asshole. Once all the players have had their first turn, start ordering others to drink that are behind you. But be careful, this could come back to bite you in the ass. No pun intended. President's Club. Once you finish the game and make it into the President's Club, this does not mean that your game is over. You then become a club member. Club members can participate in guessing games for their team. They can act or draw for other team members. They can use skip chips that they saved or other team members pass on to them. They can play on behalf of their team members, and they can order drinks to other players that are not in the club. The slider spaces. Anyone who lands on a slider must slide, even if it is not your turn. If it is your turn, you play the space that you slide to. If you slide to a back space, then you move back to the space and your turn is over. You do not continue the play. Pink or purple spaces are game spaces. You choose a Pictionary card, select any of the options on the card, and announce if you're going to act or draw them, and then let everybody know what the category is. Color coded accordingly. If it is pink, that's an all play. If it's green, that's difficult. Purple is an action, yellow is a noun, and blue means it's an object. If somebody from your team guesses first, then you will go again. Otherwise, the play continues to the next player. If there's a guessing tie, the players who have the guessing tie can do rock, paper, scissors to determine who wins. Green spaces. If you land on a green space, you're going to roll one dice, and if you roll an even number, you move forward that number of spaces. If you roll an odd number, you're going to move backward that number of spaces. Once you move, your turn ends. Blue spaces are simply drink spaces. If you land on a solo, you have to drink the number of seconds that you rolled your dice to land in that spot. If you land on a social, that means everybody has to pick up their drink and drink together. Once the drinks are completed, the turn is over. Yellow spaces can be a swap spot or a skip chip. A swap spot means that any player that lands on a spot that is a swap spot must swap spaces with any other pawn. If you are the first and only player on the board, then you go back to start. You cannot swap with club members, as they are protected. If you land on a yellow skip chip, the skip chips are held in a pot, also known as the center of the board. You can take one if it's available and keep it in your possession until you use it to skip another player. It can be used anytime during the player's turn until they remove their fingers from their pawn. To use it, scream chip and then show the chip to the other player. The player must then return to the space that they came from. Once you use it, return it to the pot for other players who land on this space to use. If there's no chip available, then drink instead and your turn is over. Things to decide before playing. Do you want to roll the exact number of spaces needed to get into the President's Club, or will any number that gets you there be sufficient? The reason why you might want to consider this is because of the amount of time it may take everybody at the end of the game to get into the club. Things may get clogged and it could prolong the process and the game. To get started, divide into even teams. Decide your team colors. And Each player select a pawn that matches your team's color. Everybody rolls the dice to see who goes first, and then you want to sit in order of your team in an ABC order. The play is going to play in clockwise rotation. The end. Time to play.